Hey guys, so today I wanted to jump on here really quickly and share with you my thoughts on the new Too Faced Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar Palette. I know there's probably tons of videos out there explaining the palette, showing you the colors and tutorials and so on and so forth, but I kind of wanted to just give you my 2 cents on it and see what you think, if you have it, if it compares to the first one, and just what your thoughts are. I just kind of want to know. So if you have any feedback about this Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar Palette or the original, please leave your feedback down below in the comment section. So before I get into my review, I think I'm just going to go ahead and show you how to do this look today. I'm going to fast forward it so that I can fit a tutorial and a review into one video. I'm only showing you the eyes. I didn't show you the part where there's liner mascara. I kind of skipped over that really quickly, and of course face and lips. Didn't show that either. Everything that I'm using on my face will be listed below. If you are curious about what I'm wearing, it will be in the description box. So expand that and everything you need to know will be there for you. So let's just go ahead and get into this look. Alright, so the first step that I'm doing is taking the Avon Extra Lasting Eyeshadow Pencil in the color Sapphire. I'm applying that to my lids as a base just to prep it for this blue color that we're going to be applying over it. You don't have to use navy, but I just wanted to use something that coordinates with that. You could use white, black, you could even use like a Paint Pot by MAC in Painterly or Soft Ochre, anything that's going to prep the lid, because this blue is not intense. And then as you can see here, I am blending that out. You can use your finger, which I will here in a moment, but any sort of soft synthetic brush is really going to be key to blending out this cream product, and you have to work fast with these before they set. Alright, so the next step is to take the color Nougat, which is a muted kind of rose color, and I'm going to apply that with a fluffy crease brush. This is the Morphe MB14, and I'm applying this to my crease all over. It doesn't have to be precise. As you can see, I'm just throwing that in the crease just as a transition shade between the blue and some of the deeper shades and our brow bone highlight, and just kind of buffing it back and forth. I really love that brush for that step. Next, I'm taking the color Coconut Cream, which is a matte ivory color, with a red Sable eyeshadow brush by Morphe Brushes, and I'm applying that as my brow bone highlight. Alright, next I'm taking the color Mousse, and this is another matte shade. This is a light cool tone tannish brown color, and I'm taking that with a Sigma E25 blending brush, and I'm going to be applying this to my crease, putting the most of the product on the outer part of the crease, kind of like the outer V area, and I'm just kind of blending it back and forth, and I'm going to bring it pretty far into the inner part of the eye with whatever's left on the brush. I'm not picking up any more product, just whatever's left after you deposit the most on the outer part of the eye. Then I'm going back in with the Morphe MB23 brush, and I'm just going to soften out the edges so that there aren't any harsh lines. Next, we're going to work on the lid. I'm taking that Blueberry Swirl color and a Morphe MB14 brush. Alright, so I'm taking that color and I'm just going to be packing it on, and honestly, as you can see, that brush, the MB14, is pretty daggone thick. I wasn't expecting it to be that thick when I ordered it, but whatever. That's what I use, but if you wanted something a little bit better with more control, the Sigma Shader Lid E56 brush is actually really good for applying pigments or shadows over cream bases, and I will have that brush listed below for you. But then, as you can see, I've applied that color to the lid, and I'm going back in with the E25 blending brush that we used earlier, and I'm just going to add some more of the brown, which was Mousse, just to kind of soften the edges around that blue color. Alright, so I'm cleaning up under the eye area with these simple cleansing facial wipes. That blue color can have just a bit of fallout, not too much, but I wanted to make sure that I cleaned it off before applying concealer and moving on to the lower lashes, which, by the way, we are going in with the color Truffled, which is a matte brown color, and an angled liner brush. This is the Morphe MB32. I'm applying that to the lower lash line, sticking really close to the root of the lash and just kind of buffing that in. We're not using any liner on the waterline, so I just went a little bit heavier than I would have with that truffled color, and I'm just applying that and blending it with my finger. Super easy. And I'm also kind of meeting up with that line. As you can see, that angle with the shadow on the outer part of the eye. Then I'm taking the color Mousse with the same brush, and I'm going to be applying that color just beneath the truffled, not too much unless you want it to be a little bit thicker and more smoked out, but just a little bit just to create more of a blended look. And then I'm going back in with truffled and a pencil brush. That's the Sigma E30 brush, and I'm going to be deepening out the outer V. This is a completely optional step, but I like it because I felt like because the look was a little bit more dramatic, I wanted to add some more depth. But it's optional. You don't have to do it. If you don't like such dark looks, then you can just skip this step. And then just blend it out with a crease brush. I'm using the same one from earlier, the MB23 by Morphe Brushes. So once I had the outer V part as dark as I wanted it, I went back with some Blueberry Swirl and just touched up the lid because you can lose some color while you're blending, and this is the completed look. Skip the falsies. I did some tight lining, no liner on the upper lashes, lots of mascara on the top and bottom lashes, and that is the completed look. Alright, so I hope that you guys enjoyed that look. I really like the way it came out. I feel like this tutorial or doing a look like this really helps me like the palette even more. So this is what it looks like. It's that sort of metal exterior, which I actually prefer because I took this with me on vacation while I was gone for about 2 weeks. Took this with me in my carry-on purse because of the fact that mine just doesn't really close all the way. I don't know if it's maybe just a defective one, I don't know what it is, but I just feel like the magnetic closure is not really secure like the Naked palettes, for example. They will snap shut even though it's metal. You hear it close, and no shoe, heel can get in there, a brush can't wedge this open, but literally I can pop this open with my pinky, and I don't feel like the metal or the magnet is really strong on this. So this is one of the things that I don't like about it. I don't think that this would be travel friendly. Maybe it's just mine. Maybe yours is better if you have it, or the ones other people have purchased might be a little better. Mine just might be a defective. But like the packaging, it says the Too Faced up here, Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar Palette. I think is really cute, reminiscent of a chocolate bar, obviously. And then of course on the inside there's a mirror, and then here are the shadows. I do like the color ranges. First of all, I do have to acknowledge the smell. It's incredible. It smells just like chocolate. If I could eat this and it's perfectly okay, then I probably would, but they have cocoa powder in them. Of course, this is probably not a new concept to you because you probably are familiar with the Too Faced products, but I do like the color ranges, and this is what it looks like. Let me get it up close so there you can see. Of course, with different cameras and lighting, it's going to look different versus, you know, other videos that are out there, and then of course, photographs that you see will be different as well. So I used this for 2 weeks straight, and I really enjoyed using it. I used primarily this nougat color, which I used in today's look as well. This nougat color, I used Mousse, which is kind of like a cool tone, like a bit of a cool tone tan shade. I use Truffled, which is this dark brown here. And then I use Bonbon, which is the rose gold here. I do think that they're really pretty. Of course, the Butter Pecan was the actual color that I used to highlight my face while it was gone. I didn't bring any face highlighters. I used that and it worked really well. It is very, very intense and very pigmented, as you can probably tell with the lights here. Coconut Cream is that big white one as well on the top. That's what I use. That one is actually really pigmented, and it does show up very well on my skin tone. If you're darker, medium, tan, darker skin tones, you will be able to see this a lot more than if you're my skin tone or fair, more fair than I am, because it is pretty light. I do want to mention some sort of things that I don't really care about the palette, me personally. This pink sugar color here, which is supposed to be like a pink, but it has glitter and it's supposed to be iridescent. I think the concept of the colors is fine to me, but the thing is that when you swatch this, all you get is just little bits of glitter. There is like literally nothing comes off of this, and that's all you get. And to me, that would be more of like a sort of top coat over one of the other colors, or if you wanted like a bit of a glitter, wearable glitter on your eye over some of your favorite shadows, that would be what I would use this for. I would actually not even use this in looks that I create for myself, because there's nothing to it. It's just a little bit of glitter, not even a lot of glitter. Literally no pigment to it. It's supposed to be like a pinkish iridescent color, which if they would have done it right, it would have been really, really pretty. Then the next thing is that Blueberry Swirl. That's the color that I used today. I would have, my preference would have preferred this palette to actually, or this color to look this intense, because I would have totally rocked this blue. I am not afraid to use bright colors, but when you see this in photos and maybe in person, you probably think, oh wow, that's going to be intense, but it really isn't. It looks intense on the eye today because I had to use a base underneath to make it really potent and make it stand out. But if you just kind of swatch it, this is what you get. So not really what I would expect from Too Faced. I think that this quality reminds me of some of other drugstore. There's a better swatch of it there. Some other drugstore, and I think off the top of my head, something from the drugstore that gives me really intense payoff, better than what you're seeing here, is the Milani Bella eyeshadows. This is Bella Cobalt, if you're wondering, and this is like an eye gel shadow. But I'm going to just swatch and show you what they look like. So this is the Too Faced, and then this is the Bella eyes from Milani. Of course, they're two different tones of blue, but the whole concept of what I'm trying to get at is the fact that look at how intense this looks, and it's a drugstore shadow versus something from Too Faced that is supposed to cost quite a bit more. I do think that you can get something better out there than that specific color. I think that that color and the pink sugar, I feel like it makes me kind of wish that I maybe would have thought a little bit more about buying it, because I feel like I just sort of went on an impulse and bought it right before I left. I literally came in the mail the next day, I packed it up and I left. So I do like it. I think it's really good. I just think that those two colors are just really disappointing. I feel like they could have done that a little bit better. I think that if they would have really nailed those two colors and really perfected them, I think a lot of people wouldn't be complaining about it, because I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that's complaining about, especially about that pink sugar. Some people might prefer the Blueberry Swirl to be just the way it is, and I personally would have preferred it to be a little bit more pigmented. But I do love the colors. Like this is peanut butter here, as you can see. It's really, really nice. And I will go ahead and insert photos here in a moment of the swatches so that you guys can see them. And then caramel is really, really intense as well, and it's a really pretty sort of wearable kind of gold color. I do like that. I did use the black a lot while I was on vacation. This is what I use primarily as my liner. Had I known I was going to take this with me, I would have skipped taking pencil liner with me, because this is actually a really nice black. I think it's really, really good. It's not the blackest black I own, but it's pretty freaking good, I'd have to say. So I have to give them credit for that licorice, because it's really nice. And I do love this sort of nougat shade here, which is the one that I showed you here that I use a lot. It actually has a bit of a dent in it because I use it so much, and it's almost like you can't really tell too much. It's a really kind of muted rose color almost, and I think that it serves the purpose, as at least for me and my skin tone, as a transition shade. This will work really great to buff out some darker colors. If maybe I picked up, you know, truffled, for example, that matte dark brown, too much of it, I can go in with nougat and kind of diffuse it a bit and make it more toned down. I do like that. Cocoa Chili is actually quite cool as well, because it's a nice brown shade, but it has some glitter in it. But it actually feels really, really soft, and you can see there it's pretty pigmented. And you're not going to be able to capture because the camera's not really good at getting glitter, but it's really intense, and it has some bit of like a golden, sort of like greenish, and I'm picking up hints of orange glitter in that shadow, so that's quite unique, and I think it's really, really, like I said, cool. Some of the other colors, like Puddin', which I will show you, looks like this. It's the third one in the second row here. That one is actually a color that I really like. It's a nice cool tone, grayish brown. Let's see, Frosting, just show you some random ones. Frosting here is really, really nice, and I'm going to put the link to my blog, because I'm going to be posting photos and more swatches and stuff on the blog. I did take pictures of this when I got it, because mine is pretty dirty, and I don't like posting dirty pictures like that on my blog. I like to show like the makeup brand new and then kind of break into it and then tell you what the review is and my thoughts. So I do like it. I do think it's great. Do I feel like it's necessary? No, I don't think that you need to have this. If you have the first one, maybe you don't need this one. If you have an extensive collection of eyeshadows, then this is probably not something that you need. I think it's good to have if you don't have a large collection of shadows and you want to have some colors like this, but just in one sort of palette versus having a bunch of individuals. I think that might be a better option for those of you who have small collections. But if you have a lot of eyeshadows, like the Pro palettes from, what is that brand? Lorac. Pro palettes from Lorac, even some of the Zoeva palettes, if you have Makeup Geek shadows, palettes from Morphe Brushes and things like that, you can probably find a lot of these in other brands. I would say pretty much the majority of these colors, except for Nougat, I haven't found a color quite like it in my collection. I have a lot, but I do feel like the other ones are pretty dupable. I think that you can find something similar to these, so this is not, to me, not a must-have. I like it. Would I go out and repurchase it? No, probably not. I don't see myself really needing to repurchase a palette because I go through so many palettes pretty much day to day. I don't really go through an entire palette and use them down to the pan. I do think it's nice. It smells incredible, just like the, you know, their Chocolate Soleil bronzer, which is really great. But I do think that if you wanted to try some really pigmented shadows, pick up some of these Milani ones. These are really, really good quality, and I'm actually going to be doing a tutorial soon with the ones that I got while I was on vacation because they're really, really good. So that pretty much wraps up this review. I hope that this was helpful to give you my thoughts and my 2 cents on it. If you were curious to see what I thought about it. Hope that you guys enjoyed the tutorial, and let me know what your feedback is on this semi-sweet chocolate bar, or even if it's the original chocolate bar palette, which I don't have. Let me know if you like it and if you think that's better to have versus the semi-sweet, so that if other people kind of tune into the video, they can kind of see what other people think out there as well. So thank you for tuning in for the video. I hope you guys are having a fabulous day, and I will see you very, very soon.